Hi, welcome to the Marrying a Parent YouTube page. My name is Erica Grace, and I am going to be bringing you so much content and love and advice and questions, because I need your advice too, on the topic of marrying a parent. So, today we're going to discuss something that we were chatting about on the Instagram page. It was a post that I had. Here it is right here. What happens to my relationship with my stepchild when this relationship ends? When I thought about it, I immediately thought of the saying, don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. And that's a saying, I'm going to read it to you, that means avoid getting rid of something good or valuable along with something unwanted. So if you think about a baby in the bathwater, you think about the ring around the tub, you think about how dirty this little thing was. But when you get rid of the bath water, something they used to do in the old days, they would toss the water out the window because they didn't have drainage. But the thought is, get rid of the water, keep the baby. Get rid of the dirty water, keep the baby. When your relationship ends, you're getting rid of that relationship. But to me, there was still something good and valuable there, something that I loved, a person that I had built this relationship with over time, and I didn't know how to navigate that. Have you ever thought about that? What happens to your relationship? Has this been something that you experienced? I'm going to talk about it in long form over on YouTube, but I just wanted to spark your brains as to what do you do when the relationship ends, when you marry a parent? How do you navigate the relationship with the stepchild? The post talked about don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. So as you saw in that particular Instagram, I explained what it meant, the old school meaning of what don't throw the baby out with the bathwater is, and said we would chat about it some more. And what was awesome about this post is that I got so much love, likes, and comments back from you all. And as a very, very new content creator, I realize how much it is and how much it means to have you all chat back, and actually, um, what do you call it? Just engage with us. It's so super important and it's so appreciated. I didn't realize how much this topic would touch other people. It didn't just touch people who were step parents who may have gone through a divorce or a separation, but it also triggered many current adults that grew up as stepchildren. And so in the book, in chapter 10, is when we talk about don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. And I started it for us beginning millennials, so us young 80s babies. I don't know if you remember in the movie Clueless, it starts off and she says, Mr. Horowitz, Cher's dad says, Josh is in town and will be joining us for dinner. And Cher's like, for what? And he's like, he's my stepson. And she goes, you were barely married to his mom, and that was like 5 years ago. Why do I have to deal with Josh? And the father said something that I had never listened to. So, mind you, sometimes I'll pick up an old movie on an airplane, and I decided this was going to be it some time ago, right around the time I was writing the book. And you hear things differently in movies depending on where you are in your life, because you receive different things, your perspective changes. And so Mr. Horowitz says, you divorce wives, not children. And I was like, oh, this is good. You divorce wives, not children. You divorce husbands, not children. The separation happens between the two adults, but should the children be included in that? And I had some really good feedback on the question, some of which I'll feed to you right here so you can see it for yourself. And one of the stories that I talk about in the book is a friend of mine, very close friend of mine, like a sister to me. And she explained her situation growing up. I would call it a super blend. You can read more about it in the book. But she gave me some really good advice. And I'm going to give you it here, and then we can chat about it more in the comments. So The first thing she said was, have open, honest communication and conversations about what occurred. So, of course, this has to be age appropriate. At the time of my separation and then divorce, my stepchild was the age of 12 turning 13. So these were open, honest communication and conversations that could have been had with her. Now, it's not that you have to talk about what led to the particular demise of the marriage or the relationship, because that can be touchy and maybe too mature for that particular child. But they do deserve a conversation about the change, the major change that's going to happen in their lives. The second was, tell the child how you feel. So letting them know, that the separation or divorce is not their fault, telling them how much you love them, and letting them know that they always will have access to you because of the love that you have. If you have no access because of their age or circumstances, maybe write them an email monthly that you can give them when they turn 18, so that they know one day, wow, I was always on my stepdad or stepmom's mind. They never forgot about me. And then when they get of age, you can have those conversations with them that say, I love you. I've always loved you, but I had to respect the barriers and boundaries that your parents set in place. But here you are. Here are all the emails from the past 10 years. Leave the ball in their court. That was another gem that she gave. Once they know the truth in a very age appropriate way, you got to leave it up to them, because they have their feelings too. And what I love about this current generation and how we're raising our children is that we give them space to emote, have their own feelings about a particular situation, and then come back around. So you got to leave them that space. And then for your own feelings as the step parent, you have to be open to how they process it. In my particular situation, I don't know that my stepchild knows about the parameters and what exactly happened in my situation. But because of what it was, I'm always going to assume she's going to side with her parents. And I think as every adult, when we get older, we understand adulthood. We understand our parents in a very different way. And so I always leave space for her to come back around in that manner. And I have to be open, give myself grace, because our adult hearts break as well, and be open to how she processes it. And then something that I said was, take care of your mental health. My particular situation was difficult. And I felt at times I can deal with her. I just can't deal with the people that made her. And so my mental, taking care of my mental meant she's always welcome in my space, but she can't be welcome in my space with anyone else. And understanding that she was a, preteen to a new teen, that may have meant at that time, understanding that this relationship could not be nurtured until she was old enough to nurture it herself. But your mental health is really important. And if the child all of a sudden can't stand you because maybe they're being fed things from other households that they live in, you got to take care of yourself. So leave room and space open for your stepchild, but also understand that your mental health is super important, especially when you're healing through a major traumatic or major life event. And then seek advice from people who have been in your shoes. And that's where this came from. It was my girlfriend who had the experience. She grew up in a blended family, and there was a separation for a period with her biological mom and her stepdad. And her stepdad, although it may have been against what her mom wanted at the time, they kept in contact. And it was beneficial for her because her parents ended up getting back together. But he showed her from the beginning that my love for you is beyond the marriage that I have to your biological parent. So some key takeaways are, you don't have to divorce your stepchild. You can hold physical and emotional space for your stepchild in your life. leave the ball in their court, and make sure you take care of your mental health. So thank you for joining us as we talked a little bit more about what we touched on in the Instagram post, which was don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. Just because something bad has to go doesn't mean you can't keep the good things that come from it. And if you have love in your heart for your stepchild, keep that love for them. Thank you for coming and listening to this YouTube. And what do they say? Like, subscribe, comment, share. Thank you so much. Bye.